Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get started with tonight's meeting. We'll start with the invocation. Pastor Stephanie Ballou with Crossway Church is here, and then Terry Hollander will lead us in a Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Father, we thank you for this evening. We ask that your presence be over this meeting and that you would give us wisdom and guide these proceedings and just give direction. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Councilmember Joe Cronin.
Here.
Councilmember Mike Elam.
Here.
Councilmember Dave Hammond. Councilmember Joe Brazel.
Here.
Councilmember Terry Hollander.
Here.
Councilmember Mike Klinghammer.
Here.
Councilmember John White.
Here. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we'll move on to public comments. We allow 3 minutes per person, 3 speakers per topic, 3 pro and 3 con. Could we please have you can talk about anything with county business or anything you like. Come, first speaker, please.
Hello, there was some audio visual that I think was going to be queued up as I started to talk here.
Is that what's that one on? Is that on
the rooster?
The rooster. Jack, you got that? Donna, did you get that hooked up?
Yes, and he is getting it. He has it.
All right, you can go ahead and start. And,
I'd rather, if it's all right, to.
okay.
There it is. There it comes.
I'm looking for the QuickTime video. 30 seconds. It should be a 30-second video. Is there audio?
You got audio, Jack?
Rotate the view.
So in other words, that's all day long.
So imagine hearing that at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. That rooster does not know or care if it's a weekend or a weekday. It doesn't care if people want to sleep in. It doesn't care if people work the night shift the evening before and they have to get some sleep. Imagine you're a prospective buyer and you're looking to purchase a home next to where that rooster is. And before you even get to the front door of the property you're looking at, the first thing that you hear is a rooster, of all things in a subdivision area, a rooster clucking. Now imagine you're the seller, and you're doing everything you can to make your home look nice and presentable for someone to purchase, and something like that, completely beyond your control, is turning people away. The first thing that buyer associates with your property now is, if I move there, I gotta live with a rooster next door. My name is Jake Lane. The reason why I'm here tonight is because of Mr. Scott Green of Animal Control, in some sort of fashion, has contributed to or has authored a bill that's going to come your way December 7th. And it specifically states restricting, essentially, placing a rooster in a residential area. And I urge you to vote in favor of it. And it's not just me. What I have here that I'd like to submit to the council is a series of petitions that have been signed by myself and by the surrounding neighbors of 14 Dale Drive, the place where all this frustration is coming from. We've been dealing with this for years. Apparently, the police can't do anything about it because there is no ordinance against having a rooster in a residential area. They can do something about a dog, they can't do something about a rooster. You call the beautification department, and they say that to call the police. The police say they can't do anything. We are fed up, and something needs to be done. I'd like to submit this to the council if I could. I don't know who. There's a copy for each of you there. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Is there anybody else that want to talk about the rooster issue? Moving on, is there anybody else that'd like to make any other public comments?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, members of the County Council, AC Dina, Public Advocate, County Resident. Couple things on your agenda. Staying with my theme of economic development and let's support our local businesses that pay our taxes and support our hire employees here in our county. Midwest Presort for the mailing service, I would hope that somebody in the county purchasing department or somebody made sure that that was a local vendor here to St. Charles County. I didn't get a chance to look at that packet in the county packet, but we need to really work strong this coming year in 2016 to keep our dollars right here in St. Charles County. And let's stop supporting other states and other areas. It's right here at home that our dollars count. My kudos to the county executive and director of administration on the animal control facility expansion. This is something that is really needed. We really need to consolidate some of our services countywide. The county executive and director of administration hammered out agreements that was finally passed by the Board of Aldermen in the city of Wentzville, and it will be passed at a December 10th meeting by the O'Fallon City Council. This was double taxation of both county and city for the same service, and it will save both communities, one community $58,000 and the other community $60,000 to $63,000. So I think that I urge you to approve this expansion of our animal shelter. Another thing that is very near and dear to my heart is the expansion of our park system. We need to make sure that opportunities that are in front of this council, we can't let them go by the wayside. As you all know, the county has hired an appraiser service to get an appraisal of the property on Forestall Road off of Highway Z. It's about 152 acre parcel of property. My access, or my question to you, not my question, my goal to you is to try to work out some type of agreeable contract for the property in the amount of $12,000 per acre. As you know, that the property is to the south of us, we own that, and to the east of this proposed park, we own that property. To let this go by the wayside is just ludicrous. It's a beautiful piece of property. It would go hand in hand with the other two pieces to make a wonderful park. If you look at the 2016 proposed budget, the fund balance of the Parks Department as of December 31st, 2015 is $15,508,000. Future land acquisition and purchase, there's a $5 million line item. That's more than enough to pay for this proposed 152 acres. There's an emergency reserve fund of $287,000, and the capital outlay, depending on the Parks Director recommended $14,500,000. The county executive recommended $17,600,000. So right there's the savings. I'm just urging every one of you on the county council to vote to purchase this 152 acres at a reasonable price, so both parties are happy. I just hate for it to see it go by the wayside. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Is there anybody else who'd like to come up and make a public comment? Yes, Michelle.
Good evening, members of the council. I thought I would come and give you a report since you are often the first person people call. I'm not sure. Is there a way to make this show up? Yeah. Face down or face up? Face up.
Face up.
Face up. Okay. Anyway, as you may recall, the last day for political subdivisions and special assessments to turn in anything that goes on the tax bill is October 31st. So we got our last charge, true to form, on Friday, October 30th. By Friday, November 6th, the real estate bills were on our system. By Monday, November 9th, the personal property bills were on our system. By Thursday, November 12th, everything was available on the internet. All the data for the 304,000 plus bills went to the printer on November 16th, started dropping at the post office last Monday, the 23rd, and I'm happy to report all of them were delivered by today at the post office. If you've received your bill, you're one of the lucky ones who were in the first mailings. It looks very different from past years. Your real estate used to come on a very small card, fold-over bill that had 2 sections to it. This year, everything is in a large envelope, so it's easier to find. It's got the new county logo, a little easier to identify. Inside this bill is also a totally new redesign. Personal property bills have not changed since before 2000. Real estate bills changed in 2007. The bill is now, and I'm going to have to kind of slide this because it's a legal-sized piece of paper. If someone only owns personal property or only owns real estate, they will get what we call a single bill, and these were mailed first. There's a single payment coupon at the bottom of it to be remitted with their payment. So those are what all went to the post office Monday and Tuesday of last week. What we call a merged bill, which is what helps save money in printing and postage, which has personal property on the left, real estate on the right, or if someone has multiple real estate, it will be continuous pages of 2 bills with 2 payment stubs on the bottom. So if someone escrows their taxes, their mortgage company still got a copy of it, but we want all taxpayers to know what services their tax dollars are funding. So we give them that information, and they can return just the personal property stub if they're only paying that and their mortgage company's paying the real estate. We also have a QR code at the top to make it easier for those who are mobile friendly and like to do that. That will shoot them right to our website, make it quick and easy. Before we even got the bill data to the printer, we applied over $700,000 worth of tax payments from people who took advantage of the advanced payment program, and they were very happy throughout the year. We got many compliments on your passage of that bill. So I just wanted to let you know they were all out in the mail, and if anybody has questions, it could just be because of the new bill format. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Is there anybody else who'd like to make any public comments? All right, seeing none, that closes public comments. Moving on to the oral report from the county executive.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, let me first of all congratulate Michelle McBride, the collector, on making those changes. I think they're great, and I think the taxpayers will appreciate it. Secondly, I'd like to yield my time to Colleen. You remember at the last meeting, we had some technical glitches, and she's going to take another shot at it. And then after Colleen, I'm going to ask Scott Drachnick to come up and make a brief presentation as well.
Much better technology night tonight, okay. Good evening, Councilman. Tonight I'm going to give you a presentation that's basically an overview on the status of communications at the county. Basically what we've been doing for the past few years in terms of branding, printing, social media, web, a little bit about how you and our audience and those watching at home can get a little bit more involved with our communications, and also what's next in terms of communications at the county, and looking forward to the Department of Communication that you talked about at the last meeting. When we talk about communications at the county, and of course it involves media relations, but it also involves so much more. And if you look at this slide, this is just a snapshot of everything that we consider communications at the county. It's basically anything that's a touch point for somebody interacting with us and our brand and who we are and what we do. So everything from Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, PowerPoint presentations, website, signage, brochures, newsletters, both internal newsletters for employees, e-newsletters, print newsletters, even tablecloths and business cards, letterhead. Those are points of communication for us. Now we have a great team of people that work to put all these materials together. We have the Office of Public Information. That includes the video production manager, who has a video production coordinator and video production specialist under him. Myself as a public affairs coordinator. We also have the health public information officer, a marketing coordinator for our parks department, the police public affairs officer, and while they're not formally communications staff, the building services staff, which includes a print shop, mail services, and switchboard, as well as our information systems web services technician, has been an integral part of our staff for the past several years. One of our big projects, especially since I've been here since 2013, has been our rebranding. For many years, we've used the county seal as our county logo, and because we didn't have any brand standards for how it was used in a variety of different ways. And as you can see on this slide, this is just a little bit of a sample for how it was used just on clothing and vehicles alone. So there weren't any consistent colors, consistent usage of how the wording was around the Lewis and Clark seal. So we adopted and embraced a new logo in 2013, which included new colors, a new color palette, a consistent look across all materials. So we embarked on rebranding all of our materials, getting a fresh new look for our newsletters, brochures, stationery, website, clothing, vehicles, and even with our law enforcement divisions, with our police department and emergency management, sheriff's department, whose patches and seals are such a big, important part of their brand. We were able to incorporate some parts of that logo to include them within the county brand as well. In addition to branding duties, just to kind of give you a little bit of snapshot of what I currently do in my position, I mostly work with 18 different departments in the county on communications plans, strategies, and materials. I also handle media relations, such as arranging interviews, giving information to the media as requested, putting out press releases and distributing those through the website, also handling website content, overseeing any changes to the website, adding new pages, social media management, updating the county's social media pages, and also managing those and overseeing those. I mentioned brand management, graphic design, designing brochures, newsletters, handling electronic newsletters as well, internal communications, helping with employee emails and employee newsletters, special events coordination, monitoring the media for mentions of St. Charles County, and also serving as the county PIO during an emergency. Our print shop is starting to take on a lot more duties and a lot more tasks. We've hired a new print shop supervisor in the past year, and she's been able to bring a lot of skills into the department and a lot of experience. And because of that, she's been able to take on more print shop tasks that were outsourced in the past. So by bringing in more projects such as voter ID cards and citation books and posters, she's been actually able to save a little over $8,000 for the department. She's looking to do more of those things as well. Social media is a big part of what we do in terms of communications, and it keeps on growing, and it's something that we've definitely expanded this year. If you look at this list, these are all the different social media sites that we have at the county. Those with an asterisk by them are the sites that we've just started this year alone. So we've definitely are growing with our social media footprint, and we definitely need your help, the public's help in growing our presence on all these mediums. Just to give you kind of a snapshot of where we're at by the numbers as of earlier this month, our Family Arena Facebook page definitely has the most likes. You always hear about likes in terms of social media, has over 20,000 likes. The county Facebook page, which was started in 2009, has over 5,198 likes. We started social media at the county with more of an informational focus, and we're working on trying to move towards more of an engagement focus where we're working with personalizing our social media. And you can see the difference between the county Facebook and the police Facebook, where they've been able to do a little bit more of that this year. Since Val started with the department, she's been able to personalize their social media more and focus more on telling stories, of officers and all of those things. So since she's been able to focus just more on that department. And of course, our Twitter page is growing. But one of the things that I definitely like to point out is while likes are important for a page, it's definitely also reach. So while you can have all the likes in the world, if the people that like you aren't sharing your information, that doesn't matter as much. So it's a combination of all of it. So if you look at this post, this is the most shared post on the county police Facebook page as of earlier this month. It was a silver alert about a man that went missing. So while this wasn't the most well-liked post, this post, because of the way it was shared, was reached the most people. So it had the most reach and the most power among the audience. So by sharing posts and by sharing it with your networks, whether it be Twitter, through Facebook, and all of that, it definitely has a lot of power. Whereas if we could, post items and information on Facebook all day, but if we don't have that, audience behind it that's interested and engaged in what we do, we need that as well. On the county Facebook page, for example, some of our biggest engagement was back in 2013 during the tornado. These are a few samples. The one on the upper right was one of our biggest hits. I think that was the one that was around 23,000 views that I had mentioned earlier. And it was just simply an informational post about storm damage and how we were picking up tree debris. And you can see there how many likes that had, how many shares it had. Over 206 times it was shared. We had responded to 60 comments just on that page alone, and they were questions that ranged from, are you picking up in my neighborhood, to are you picking up in this city, or when is St. Peter's picking up like you guys are, and all those sorts of things. So a big part of what we did that day after the tornado, sitting in the emergency management trailer, was managing social media and handling all these questions. So it takes a lot of resources. And even too, when we posted pictures of all the tornado damage, you can see how much that was shared. So social media for us, even the information sharing, while we want to get more into the engagement portion, the social media, the information sharing is still a big component. And our social media also has national reach. The police department page, the People magazine picked up on the story about Chief Sidney whenever Chief Sidney was named, and they also used pictures from our police Facebook page on their story on people.com. So our social media is definitely being looked at. It's not just regional, it definitely hits national. Along with our social media, we have launched a more robust interactive website in 2014, which I know a lot of you know a lot about. That Notify Me button on the website is definitely a component of our website that we want to spread the word about and get the word out about. When you click on that, you can put in your web email address and sign up for our e-newsletters or calendar items. You can sign up to receive press releases. So we're definitely working on getting the word out about that, and that's something that our website didn't have before, and it's a great way, in addition to social media, which we do every day, to keep in to keep in touch with us. So I mentioned needing your support, audience support, public support in getting the word out. So we need everyone that follows us, that's our friend, that a supporter of the county, to be a SCCMO ambassador. So whenever we put something on social media, send out a newsletter, send out a press release, share it with your network. That's how we build the support on our social media pages and build our likes, build our reach, build all that whole big social network. So all of that makes a difference. Going forward, especially looking forward to the Department of Communication, we want to look at doing even more with social media and engagement. So doing more personalization and two-way communication on social media, expanding our social media footprint, including Instagram. One of the big things that I would like to do is to do with Instagram something called #ILoveSCCMO, where you could submit pictures for consideration to be posted on the county website, which would allow more interaction with the county website, and also for people to submit great photography onto the website that we could use, and also interaction with the public in that way. Working on more ways to help people find the information and offices they need through signage and other information sources. Working on developing more ways to educate the public about the functions of county government. Further utilizing website capabilities and integration of video. Our website has so many different components that can be used, and we haven't even scratched the surface with being able to utilize our blogs and all kinds of other features. Also working on continuing to integrate the brand and our new brand into our materials. We're still working on that. Bringing more print projects in-house to achieve cost savings, and also working on internal communications, developing more employee training materials, and working on keeping all of our 1,000+ employees on the same page. Any questions?
Any questions?
Really quick overview.
No, thank you.
Thank
Very
you.
good.
Thank you.
Scott?
Good evening. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving holiday. Scott from Workforce Development. We are here, first off, to remind everybody that unemployment continues to drop, wages continue to go up, and it's always a good time to grow your business and your life in St. Charles County. With that said, we are coming up to Hour of Code Week here across the nation. It starts December 7th. You can see at your table I've put a little piece of information, if maybe Jack can pull that up. This is part of a national movement that is an outgrowth to try to bring computer science into the classroom. It will help students prepare better for the 21st century workforce skills that they need, and it's also something that's going to make a difference as we try to move the economy forward on a global basis. It's also an outgrowth of STEM, and so when we think of STEM, when we think of computer science, when we think of Hour of Code, we're here tonight to give a proclamation to the Wentzville School District, the fastest growing school district in the state of Missouri, and here to speak on behalf of what they've been doing to bring computer science and STEM into the classroom here in St. Charles County is Dr. Curtis Kane from Wentzville School District. Thank you, sir.
Good evening. I want to thank you for inviting me here this evening, and most importantly, for honoring the Wentzville School District, for leading the way when it comes to coding, computer science, and STEM initiatives in our classrooms and in our community. The motto of the Wentzville School District is learning today and leading tomorrow. In order to lead tomorrow, more and more students will need skills in multiple areas, including coding, engineering, technology, science, and applied mathematics. For this reason, the Wentzville School District has been emphasizing the importance of STEM and technology fields for the last decade. This year, our district began implementing the high school computer science sequence of Project Lead the Way curricula, a nationally recognized leader in STEM curricula. We've implemented an introductory Project Lead the Way computer science course in our middle schools. Other middle school courses are being revised to introduce coding in both 6th and 7th grades as well. To help more of our underrepresented students actually become engaged in the STEM fields themselves, we have Girls Who Code clubs at 2 of our middle schools with the assistance of MasterCard. In an effort to involve our youngest students in coding, computer science, our elementary and middle school students have participated in the Hour of Code during Computer Science Education Week. Each year in December, this is designed to pique students' interest in both coding and technology. Our STEM initiatives don't stop there. Our elementary students have been exposed to Singapore math since 2007 in order to develop conceptual understandings in mathematics, not just rote memorization. High school students can take engineering, biomedical, and computer science, as well as advanced placement math and science courses as well in the Wentzville School District. With the help of district staff, community partners, we have been able to offer students the opportunity to participate in robotics clubs, STEM clubs, and mentoring opportunities with STEM professionals. Every year, a large group of middle school students, specifically girls, explore a variety of technology skills through Girls for Tech programs that have been assisted with MasterCard. Many of our students participate in Boeing Engineering Challenge programming as well. In an effort to develop students who believe they are capable of pursuing STEM careers, we host a district career exploration fair and STEM nights throughout our school district in cooperation with our community partners. In the winter, we will have STEM Olympics where students compete in design challenges and hands-on activities, as well as demonstration by high school students and volunteers from our corporate partners. Earlier this month, the first week in November, we had the honor of hosting the statewide Project Lead the Way conference at Timberland High School, where over 1,000 educators across the state gathered to discuss ways to engage students in STEM-related coursework and to foster corporate relationships that ultimately benefit our students. In 2011, the Wentzville School District began the One-to-One Initiative, which effectively puts a device in each one of our high school students' hands so that they are understanding what it means to use technology on a daily basis. In short, we are very, very fortunate to live in a caring and generous community that supports our educational goals of providing a top-tier curriculum with career exposure and preparation for high-demand global fields, along with up-to-date technology to use for that coursework. At every level, from teacher and parent groups to our corporate partners like MasterCard, Boeing, Pfizer, and Monsanto, our community supports STEM education so our students can develop critical thinking and problem-solving skills that will enable them to be tomorrow's leaders. You may have heard we are the fastest growing school district in the state of Missouri, and we've been that way since 2000. Typically, each summer we grow anywhere from 500 to 600 students. Actually, in July, from one week in July, from Thursday to Thursday, we grew 119 students in 1 week. For the past 6 years, our students, in terms of MAP scores, are in the top 10% across the state. Our district is extremely proud to have simultaneously both grown in terms of enrollment and student performance as well. This could not have been accomplished without the dedication of our parents, our teachers, our counselors, administrators, and community partners who assist us in providing a high-quality education, one that is strategically focused on STEM and technology, so that all students have the tools they need to be both college and career ready. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kane. Does anybody have any questions?
He has a.
Oh, I'll come down.
The county executive asked me if I would read this proclamation in his place, which is going to be presented to Dr. Kane in the Wentzville School District. It says, whereas the Hour of Code is a global movement reaching tens of millions of students and people of all ages in more than 180 countries and will be held December 7th through 13th, 2015. And whereas the Hour of Code calls attention to the fact that computer science helps nurture problem-solving skills, logic, and creativity, and whereas by starting computer science training at an early age, students will have a strong foundation for success in any 21st century career path, and whereas the Hour of Code is supported by an impressive coalition of partners that include the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, and the College Board, and whereas there will be more than 100,000 Hour of Code 2015 events around the world, including those at the St. Charles County Department of Workforce and Business Development and at the Wentzville School District, as well as around the community, and whereas the Wentzville School District is the fastest growing school district in Missouri and is a leader in using STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, to better prepare students for the jobs of tomorrow through efforts like the Hour of Code, Project Lead the Way, Singapore Math, robotics teams, the Tri-County Regional Science and Engineering Fair, and the STEM Olympics. Now therefore be it proclaimed that I, Steve Ellman, the St. Charles County Executive, urge all educational institutions, businesses, governments, community groups, families, students, and citizens of all ages to join with us in recognizing the Wentzville School District's leadership role in STEM education, and hereby encourage all to support and take part in the Hour of Code Week, December 7th through 13th, 2015, in St. Charles County, Missouri. Congratulations.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Make it one more. 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Thank you. Nice meeting you.
Mr. Chairman.
I was going to, go ahead.
Yeah, just in closing, I just want to thank Dr. Kane for being here. I'm sure that he agrees with me and most of us that it's really important that the schools have that close relationship with various aspects in the community. I know for a fact that the business community in particular is very, very pleased with the type of efforts you're making. The kind of jobs that are available out there are going to require the kind of training that you're talking about, and I just want to congratulate you again.
It's not about isolation. It's all about how we come together and collaborate. And we work every single day to get better every single day, and it's always, always, always about students. So that's what we're here to do. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, very good. Moving on to the consent agenda. Are there any items to be removed from the consent agenda?
Yeah, Joe, I need to remove the supplemental agreement number 4 with GBA Systems.
Okay, second. All those in favor of removing that one, say aye. Aye. Okay, I'd like to remove the addition to the Animal Control Center Second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any other items?
Motion to pass the remaining portion of the consent agenda.
Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, go to your,
Yeah, we just need to change the date on supplemental agreement number 4. November 15th has come and gone, so they want to change it to December 31st for completion of that part of the plan to the green light cameras.
is that a motion? Does that require a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Good, Greg?
It's not just vote on whether to approve.
Oh, no, we just approved adding that addendum to the line, and then do we, okay. We're going to collectively, yeah, then we'll vote on the remainder of the, I just wanted to ask Corey a question on the addition to the Animal Control Center. Corey? I did talk to, I don't think I talked to you about it, I think I talked to Joanne. I just so the council knows, I was, just a question, we got to kind of understand where we're going to go on this. The bidder that they awarded the contract to was not the low bidder. He was, if you read the notes, he was 2.2% higher, $5,000 higher on a $250,000 contract. And my question was to them is, you know, it's hard enough sometimes, and I don't know what, it's kind of a policy to question, I think, because sometimes I know that some of the council members will harp on them, well, shouldn't it be a county business? In construction, I'm a little, I think it's a little different, and I could be wrong, but could you tell me, and I know you're following what you think we maybe want you to do, so I'm not criticizing in any fashion, but if there's a $5,000 difference by going to, and the guy who bid it, they're from St. Charles County, they live in St. Charles County, their business is off a page, okay? And he was low
I
bidder.
can walk you through the process of how we selected them, if that'll kind of show you what we did.
Well, it's more of a, well, you can, but it's, I don't know if we want to get into that much detail. Isn't it more of just a discretionary policy decision?
Well, what it is I take the 3 low bidders and I sit down and have an interview with the 3 low bidders, and I give them a list of questions. They all have the same list of questions. And like you said, the policy is to award it to somebody within the county if it's feasible at I don't remember the exact wording, but if it's a negligible price. The low bidder was in St. Louis County. The second low bidder was in St. Charles County. Went through the interview with them, and the second low bidder offered some value engineering ideas that saved us an additional $6,700, made them the low bidder.
But let me ask you that. When you open these bids, they're publicly open in front of everybody, right?
Yes.
So everybody knows the bottom line. So
Yes.
that valued engineer, that when you do that, that person who was low already gave you his best price. The
Yes.
second person knows he was $5,000 higher, so naturally he can come up with an idea to come down $5,500. And that's why I don't really necessarily believe in that valued engineering proposition when they already know all the prices, because all the bids have been given.
Yes. They
So
they
that's
do
why
know
I
the
don't-
bottom line.
Yeah, so I don't think, because when you do that, you start having preference over certain, you may, I'm not saying you do, but someone may start having preference over certain vendors than others by saying, well, listen, when you come in and negotiate, give me some valued engineer ideas because you know you're $5,000 high. So I think that contaminates the process.
Well, and then the other portions of those questions that we're asking them, which contractors they have, who they plan on using, and the low bid only had 4 contractors within the county, and with the list he submitted to me, where the second low bid had almost double that. I mean, so it was, the major portion of that was trying to follow what I've been taught here in the county to keep the money within the county. And that was my thought process, right, wrong, or indifferent. It's just, that's how we got to that.
I absolutely agree with that procedure. I mean, the value engineering, I understand where you're coming from. You can come in and say, well, here, you do this, and I'll cut the price by $10,000, and maybe it's only $1,000 of real savings. You can play with
Yes.
the numbers on that. But I think that it is important that we try to keep our local businesses having somewhat of a preference. I mean, if they're, $500,000 higher or something, that's obviously not going to make a difference. But if they're that close, and we can give a little nudge to the local business, yes, I absolutely think that we should do that every time, as long as they're as equally or better qualified as
Yes.
as well. And that's the underlying thing. It comes down to getting the best person, or best company for the job. I understand what you're saying, Joe, is that the company is owned by somebody here in St. Charles County. We have to go with some sort of where they're domiciled at, and the address for their place of business is the only way I can really see to do that. So I think that it's unfortunate this time it went against a St. Charles County resident that felt like he had equal standing, but at the end of the day, I still think that we need to look at where the business is actually located as one of the factors. And what Corey's already indicated, some of the other factors, I think that Integra this time is our best candidate.
I guess the question is, what is the value? What is the $5,000 value that the county residents get out of going with the higher number?
What is the value?
No, I mean, it's a tax exempt project, so.
We've, myself, many times have led the way in terms of wanting to spend our money locally. I mean, that's something the message we consistently got out. When I first became a councilman, I had a big discussion with Chuck Gross about, well, what is the amount of money? Or, he said, well, it wasn't the amount of money, it's the percentages. This is 2.2%. The magic number's always been between 2 and 3%, okay? I applaud you for doing what you're doing. You kept the money locally, and you try to figure out a way to have better engineering for this project. Because if you look at it, it's a 1,000 square foot new building and a renovation and a tech room that's 32 square feet. I mean, it's $250 a square foot project. It's a lot of dough. So if you can figure out a way to get it done better or cheaper and keep the business locally, I think that's what myself as a council member has asked this young man to do.
I'm not saying, I think this is a conversation worth having. I don't know if I disagree with you. I'm not saying I disagree. I just wanted to make sure that we're following. Now, just keep in mind, though, we got to be consistent. And so that's what I'm saying. And so we're not consistent. And the other thing we tell this young man all the time is you need more bids. You need to get more bids. Now, Hankins said that they're not bidding. Well, if that's how you guys are going to do it, if you're going to do preference, then why should I bid it? Because if I'm 2 or 3%, if I'm so close and I go through all this effort, he's like, I'm not going to bid your stuff no more, because he just did the last job for us.
That's a good point.
So the other thing is we got to be consistent. Now, do we want him to make sure he gets 4 or 5 bids? Or are we going to do the 2? If St. Charles County is getting 3% added value to the residents, it's a tax exempt. We're not getting taxes because it's a tax exempt project. So and half the employees that work for Hankins lives in St. Charles County. I don't even know how many works for Integra, but I goes, what are you basing it off? Because this is just a shop. There's no product being purchased. The product gets purchased all over the metropolitan area, so there's no taxes there either.
But hang on, from what I just heard him say, even though the contractor who won the bid lives in St. Louis County, he's using more St. Charles County contractors.
The contractor who won the bid I don't know where anybody lives. I've heard that the owner of Hankins lives in St. Charles County through conversations, but Integra is in St. Charles County, the second low bid. That's who we recommended. The low bid was in St. Louis County, even though the people that own it live in the county.
I mean, they're using more St. Charles County contractors.
Yeah, we looked at their subs, and from what the list that they submitted, I seen more St. Charles County in the subcontractors.
Was that the first list and any?
Yes.
The second list where you're saying wasn't the actual submitted list? Because I got a list too and I had more, but then you pointed out that wasn't the list.
There was contractors added to it and some, one change, yes.
That was my question. I asked the low bidder how many contractors from St. Charles, and he sent me over a list, but then Corey said that wasn't the list he submitted. So that's a point too.
I thought you were asking what's the value for the residents, and it sounded like the value was more than double of the subs that they're going to be using are St. Charles County subs as opposed to the other bidders. So that's really good value.
I guess the point is, though,
I'm just curious what your point is.
I do have the point.
We lose bidders. We lose bidders to our we had 5 bidders on this project, right?
Yeah, we had a good turnout. And I do.
5's good.
I agree with Joe. There's a risk there of scaring bidders off if we start showing preference and the guy across the river says, 3% is, I got to beat 3%. It's a tight bid.
But Councilman, that's also going to be true when we purchase goods and commodities. I mean, we face that all the time. Some vendors.
But that's different because they have the build. Let me think about this for a minute.
What's the difference between buying a Ford from Pudman or Mockins? It's the same way. It's a product that employs people. It's the same. We've had this discussion on cars often. I wanted always to get it to Putnam or Marshall in this county, and we ended up going to Mockins and Columbia. But then again, we've also looked at some cities' ordinances like St. Peter's, and they've got a very complicated formula, okay, to determine local preference. And Mr. Gross, insisted to me that he wanted the director of administration to have some leeway, and we've granted Joanne that leeway, and
And in this particular instance, when the bid came up, I told Corey to go ahead and interview the top three. They were very close together. There was 5,600, I think, between the first two, and another few thousand in the next one. The third lowest bidder had a lower cost for add-ons, if there were going to be any, by a significant amount. So it seemed valuable to interview all three. All three got the same questions. All three responded to those same questions, and based on that.
But that's a good point, though, Corey. In the industry, you have 10 to 15% overruns typically, right? Isn't that about 15%? Is that what the industry standards are?
I'm sorry, what, 10 to 15?
Cost overruns.
Oh, okay, yes.
About 15%. Okay, so the other thing is your bidder you chose is a 20% markup. The other guy's at 10.
15, I believe it was.
So that surpasses the $5,000 right there. If you add 15% to the 250,000, and then you mark it up 10 more percent.
And if you base it on that, the third lowest bidder is actually the lowest.
But not when the cumulative numbers, because it's numbers.
The third lowest bidder had significantly less that they were charging for overages.
there shouldn't be any overruns to speak of. If this was my project, I wouldn't allow any overruns, because this is a simple project. It's a 1,000
Oh, you're
square
talking
foot-
about additional costs.
It's 1,000
Okay.
square foot
Yeah, yeah.
addition. It's
No.
no big deal.
There shouldn't be, but there
Yes.
always are, you know that.
The one I did do a calculation for, based on that number, was I looked for if we had to remediate all the soils, if we had plastic soils, because that's something we can't avoid, and St. Charles County seems to have it everywhere. And in that cost, I mean, Bob Shore, we ran the numbers together, I think it was only like a $700 difference in additional costs with that percentage markup from Integra versus Hankins.
But what's your
I want to question? get back to this, and one of the point that you brought up about scaring off bidders, because that has been one of my concerns over the last couple of years, is we have a lot of projects that we can't hardly buy people to, almost have to pay them to come in and give us a bid even. They just don't want to deal with St. Charles County, and to that, I think, is a real problem. Joanne, we talk about this 2 to 3% difference, and if I was, if my competitor had a 3% advantage going in, I may not want to bid against it, because a lot of projects only have a 5% markup on them anyway. Don't we limit that, though, to a few $1,000s, or is there an upper end limit on it, on the new communication building that we're talking about? It's a $30 million building. 2 or 3% on that obviously is a bigger.
There's nothing in writing in the ordinance in that, but historically, we've limited it to, looking at sort of a hard deck. I don't think you've ever awarded anything that's more than a $10,000
Well, just so
difference.
that the Hankins of the world know what our policy really is, let's put together something that is clearly defined, so that we don't have this perception that St. Charles is only going to hire local people regardless of what the difference is, so that they know that it can't be more than X number of dollars on a particular project. I think that will go a long way to making sure that they don't walk away just because of a few $1,000s.
Well, there's other reasons too. You're limiting your quality base if you're saying if you're gonna give preference over St. Charles County. That's true too, Corey.
Yes.
You're lowering your quality of contractors. And in my industry,
St. Charles County isn't as good as St. Louis.
depending on the size of the project, but it's
We build
argumentative.
really good tick
Careful
rooms
there.
in St. Charles County. Okay, this is about a tick room, come on.
Yeah, but whatever. But I'm just telling you are. And the other thing you're doing is when you consider a contractor base, it's really the metropolitan area is what considered local. St. Louis, even East, the Belleville area, those are local contractors. I mean, in the industry that we're in industrial construction, commercial construction, you don't base it on the city or the county. I don't think anybody else does that, do they? Do you know?
I haven't dealt with many government
In
contracts.
construction, I'm speaking in construction.
No, I was supposed to say I haven't dealt with a whole lot of government contracts outside of the county.
I just don't think anybody does that in construction. That's all I'm saying. Now, you guys can do what you want.
St. Charles
but-
City certainly does.
That's right.
Yes, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, we have looked at this several years ago. What the kind of formula that we've used informally here is much more conservative than any of the other cities. What the message that I've been getting over the last several years is you'd like to see us do more local preference.
Right.
I will tell you that this one is very close to the line. So you just need to tell us.
No, see, I know.
If you
I know
want to do
that.
preference, vote for it. If you don't want to, that's fine. I mean, I would love to do preference, but I'm also concerned about the issues that you're raising. We need to make sure that our people, when they go across the river and are the lowest bidder, get a fair shake as well. So, this is a good test case, because this one's real close to what we've been looking at. Just decide which way you want to go.
They had a lawsuit, and they were given preference to Illinois contractors, that the unions were. And if it was a government job, you had to be an Illinois contractor. You had to be, and you could be so percentage high. Well, the contractor sued them, and they won. And this is similar to that. I mean, it just seems like it's prejudicial. And I don't know if it's good business practice. So I'm not supporting this, because I do think Mike's right. We have to have, and I am not faulting. I think you're doing what you think that we want you to do, but this is a little different. I don't think it's the right way, because we always talk about getting bidders on these kind of projects, on these construction projects. And if I got to go 3% more just to be equal to the guy I'm bidding against, I'm going to move to the next job and bid
It's
it.
always been that way, though, and we got 7 bidders for this project.
5 bidders.
It's
7.
5 bidders,
Again,
right, Corey?
Mr. Chairman,
I'd have to look at it, I don't know.
it's 2.2, and again, that's kind of right on here. So y'all just decide. I mean, it's a tough decision. We went with this because over the past several years, there were several times that, that we felt that the council really wanted to go with a local preference, and it was a little bit above that, and we didn't.
I don't know either one of these two companies, but given the fact that the subs are more from St. Charles, and Corey was following the direction that we set, I think that we should, stick with it and go with, in this case, the second lowest bidder. And I'm comfortable with the local preference. I do think that we need to take a look at it and see if there's a way that we can define it a little better, so that contractors and bidders know exactly what the rules of the game are, just so that, and I think we need to put a limit on it. It's equal to, 5,000 or 10,000 or some number, because I'm not willing to spend $50,000 more to get a product just because it's St. Charles.
Mr. Chairman, the only comment that I would have is that I would hope that the council members who believe that St. Charles vis-a-vis the metropolitan area is a distinction, I would hope that they would continue that philosophy, whether you believe that it is the same or not, that you continue that philosophy in the future, because sometimes that's not exactly clear from the council. Sometimes there's this issue of whether they're in St. Louis County or St. Charles County, and is that local, is that not local? I would hope that you would be consistent about that.
No, I agree, and I agree with what you're saying. The other thing is, like what Corey said, is, so that means our St. Charles County contractors go over St. Louis County. How would you like them to get the same treatment, where they'd lose a bid because they're not?
I almost bet you got local vendor preferences in those counties, in those cities, just as well as you do.
I don't believe. St. Louis County does not have a local preference vendor, not on construction. They do not.
I'm also talking about St. Louis County, but some of the cities do over there very definitely have local vendors.
Okay, all right, well, someone make a motion.
Of the 7, though, they're, all but 1 was from either St. Louis County or St. Charles County. 2 were from St. Louis County, the other 4 were from St. Charles County, and then 1 was from outside the county to the west.
I make a motion, we accept the bid from Integra for the animal control expansion project.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. And then I'll make a motion on the other one.
Yeah, make a motion that we accept the date revision as presented.
Second.
Second. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The consent agenda has been approved as presented. Moving on to the first bill for introduction, or no, I'm sorry, first bill for final passage, 4284.
Bill number 4284, an ordinance amending section 405.090.e, ordinances of St. Charles County, Missouri relating to accessory structures in RR, R1A, R1B, R1C, R1D, and R1E, single-family residential zoning districts.
Any questions or comments on 4284? Seeing none?
An ordinance amending section 405.090.e, ordinances of St. Charles County, Missouri relating to accessory structures in RR, R1A, R1B, R1C, R1D, and R1E, single-family residential zoning districts. Councilmember Cronin?
Yes.
Councilmember Elam?
Yes.
Councilmember Brazel?
Yes.
Councilmember Hollander?
Yes.
Councilmember Klinghammer?
Yes.
Councilmember White?
Yes.
4284 is passed. Move on to 4285.
Bill number 4285, an ordinance amending the zoning district map of the County of St. Charles, Missouri by rezoning land from A agricultural district, 5-acre minimum lot size, to RR single-family residential district, 3-acre minimum lot size, as per application RZ 15-000013.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none?
An ordinance amending the zoning district map of the County of St. Charles, Missouri by rezoning land from A agricultural district, 5-acre minimum lot size, to RR single-family residential district, 3-acre minimum lot size, as per application RZ 15-000013. Councilmember Elam?
Yes.
Councilmember Brazel?
Yes.
Councilmember Hollander?
Yes.
Councilmember Klinghammer?
Yes.
Councilmember White?
Yes.
Councilmember Cronin?
Yes.
4285 is passed. Move on to Bill 4286.
Bill number 4286, an ordinance amending the zoning district map of the County of St. Charles, Missouri by rezoning land from AFF agricultural district, 5-acre minimum lot size, with floodway fringe overlay district, to PRFF Park Recreational District, 3-acre minimum lot size, with floodway fringe overlay district, as per application RZ 15-000014.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none?
An ordinance amending the zoning district map of the County of St. Charles, Missouri by rezoning land from AFF Agricultural District, 5-acre minimum lot size, with floodway fringe overlay district, to PRFF Park Recreational District, 3-acre minimum lot size, with floodway fringe overlay district, as per application RZ 15-000014. Councilmember Brazel?
Abstain.
Councilmember Hollander?
Yes.
Councilmember Klinghammer?
Yes.
Councilmember White?
Yes.
Councilmember Cronin?
Yes.
Councilmember Elam?
Yes.
4286 is passed. Moving on to Bill 4287.
Substitute Bill number 4287, an ordinance approving the execution of a Sixth Amendment and a Seventh Amendment to the intergovernmental agreement with the City of St. Charles for the extension of West Clay.
Any questions or comments on 4287? Seeing none?
Hopefully this is the last one.
An ordinance approving execution of a Sixth Amendment and a Seventh Amendment to the intergovernmental agreement with the City of St. Charles for extension of West Clay. Councilmember Hollander?
Yes.
Councilmember Klinghammer?
Yes.
Councilmember White?
Yes.
Councilmember Cronin?
Yes.
Councilmember Elam?
Yes.
Councilmember Brazel?
Yes. Bill 4287 is passed. Moving on to Bill 4288.
Bill number 4288, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute a program services contract with the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services for services and receipt of funds in the amount of $9,050 for the period of September 1st, 2015 through August 31st, 2016.
Any questions or comments on 4288? Seeing none?
An ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute a program services contract with the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services for services and receipt of funds in the amount of $9,050 for the period of September 1st, 2015 through August 31st, 2016. Councilmember Klinghammer?
Yes.
Councilmember White?
Yes.
Councilmember Cronin?
Yes.
Councilmember Elam?
Yes.
Councilmember Brazel?
Yes.
Councilmember Hollander?
Yes.
Bill 4288 is passed. Move on to Bill 4289.
Bill number 4289, an ordinance enacting Section 136 Ordinances of St. Charles County, Missouri, OSUCMO, relating to a design-build process for select construction projects.
Any questions or comments on Bill 4289? Somebody needs to make a motion.
I make a motion that we amend Bill 4289 and replace it with substitute Bill 4289.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Substitute bill has been accepted. Go ahead.
Substitute Bill number 4289, an ordinance enacting Section 136 Ordinances of St. Charles County, Missouri, OSUCMO, relating to a design-build process for select construction projects. Councilmember White?
Yes.
Councilmember Cronin?
Yes.
Councilmember Elam?
Yes.
Councilmember Brazel?
Yes.
Councilmember Hollander?
Yes.
Councilmember Klinghammer?
Yes.
Bill 4289 is passed. That concludes our bills for final passage. Are there any announcements and miscellaneous? We have, our next council meeting will be Monday, December 7th.
Which is next Monday. It's a little different. It's next Monday.
Next Monday, okay. And then we have a work session. What time do you guys want to start that, 5:30? Oh, Steve, you want to do the park thing again, or are we going to try to do that again?
It won't take us long, but
You want to do that, like, to start a budget session at 5 or 5:30? What do you
it's
get?
part of my presentation.
Well, hang on, I thought we were holding off on the park thing until we had.
No,
That's
they're
the
going to
purchase.
conclude their meeting, do it how we, have the numbers.
Give her more than a week.
Or what, do you need more?
However you want to do it. It always need to put the numbers together. We'll try to get it to you before the meeting. And you can do it, part of a work session, or I can just do it at my, I can yield my time to Betty and she can do it.
Weren't we waiting on the assessment value, though?
No, that has nothing to do with what we're
That's
talking
for the
about.
closed session.
Yeah, that's closed session.
Oh, well, I thought you wanted numbers and everything, so that
No,
would
this is the
depend. Never
five.
mind.
Yeah. No, just do,
I'll
you
go
want
back
to do it
to
through
sleep
your
now.
oral
We'll
report?
have
or
it to you on Wednesday.
Whatever you
Thursday.
want.
Yeah, just do it, you want to do it the oral report? Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right, good.
Unless, and Betty can be here if you want her to, or it don't matter, I guess, really. I mean, whatever.
Well, she'll
Are we all
probably
supposed to be here?
presentation.
Just kidding.
What time you all want to start the budget? You want to start at 5 and then do the parks at 6?
5:30 is good.
5:30, and then he's going to do the parks during the regular part.
Oh, okay, we're at 5:30 budget, okay. And then also, guys, just so everybody knows, this Saturday is the Defiance Christmas Parade, okay? Steve Alman is a judge, and so is Mike Klinghammer and Joe Ward with the City of St. Charles.
Come to judge.
It's at it's 12 o'clock parade. It starts around 11, and there's festivities in town all day.
It's a 12 o'clock parade. It starts at 11.
Well,
Are you going to move it inside if it snows?
Well, no, the
many
judge
kids
is
do we
supposed to be
get on
there at
that parade?
10:30, actually. You guys saw that, yeah. So, any other questions, comments?
Move to adjourn.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you.